The chair lays out SB 1120 as a matter of postponed business on second reading. The clerk will read the bill.
SB 1120 by Juan Hinojosa, relating to the rights of a victim, guardian of a victim, or close relative of a deceased victim in certain criminal cases involving family violence, sexual or assaultive offenses, stalking, or a violation of a protective order or condition of bond.
Chair recognizes Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I want to again thank Senator Hinojosa and Senator Huffman for getting this through the Senate and to us here in the House. What this bill does is acknowledge that victims of family violence are also protected victims with regard to the right to confer with the prosecutor about the disposition of the case, and also to ensure that they have access to the evidence in the case unless somehow a disclosure of that information would interfere with the investigation of the case. This puts victims of family violence in the same position of protection of victims of sexual assault, stalking, indecent assault, and trafficking. I do have a couple amendments on the bill.
The following amendment, the clerk will read the amendment.
Amendment by Hull.
Chair recognizes Ms. Hull.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this amendment is a bill that we already passed out unanimously. This bill guarantees victims information about their offender's parole, and again, we have already passed this out unanimously, and it is acceptable to the author.
Ms. Hull sends up an amendment. The amendment is acceptable to the author. However, a record vote has been requested. All those in favor of the amendment vote aye. All those opposed vote nay. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Johnson voting aye. Show Ms. Hull voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? There being 141 ayes and 0 nays, the amendment is adopted. The following amendment, the clerk will read the amendment.
Amendment by Moody.
Chair recognizes Mr. Moody.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. We've had discussions with both the sponsor and the author of this legislation about this amendment. This amendment was a concept that was housed in a House bill that was voted out of Judiciary and Civil Jurisprudence 9-1. The version voted out of committee has actually even changed some here as part of negotiations between prosecutors and the Family Law Foundation. The concern that we're trying to address is protective orders that have a duration of 2 years will sometime expire during a family law case or a SAPSER matter or a criminal law case. And so all this amendment does is it takes those three instances and it ensures that the 2-year duration of that protective order will actually surpass the legal issue that's going on, so that we don't have to go back to get multiple protective orders during these times. It is acceptable to the author and to the sponsor, and the Senate author is also agreeable to the language. I move adoption.
Mr. Moody sends up an amendment. The amendment is acceptable to the author. However, a record vote has been requested. A record vote is granted. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote nay. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Johnson voting aye. Show Mr. Moody voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? There being 139 ayes and 0 nays, the amendment is adopted. The chair recognizes Ms. Johnson to close on the bill.
Move passage.
Question occurs on passage to third reading of SB 1120. This is a record vote. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Johnson voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? There being 140 ayes and 0 nays, SB 1120 is passed to third reading.